know, The first thing that I want to do today is give credit where credit is due, because I have released 2 videos so far on my Stephen Plays channel. I know that there's been a lot of subscribers. A lot of you guys have moved over and subscribed to that as well. We're actually over 100 now, and I appreciate that. But I'm actually recording them with the Mac, even though I said that I wouldn't be doing that. And that is because the other day there were 2 different users, SC2 Necro and Case Clot, which recommended ScreenFlow, which is a Mac application to do the same thing that I was doing with Screenium. ScreenFlow was awesome. ScreenFlow did everything I needed it to do. It synced the sound perfectly. It allowed me to adjust the volume levels of each individual thing without, and this is so key, this is a mind-blowing thing for me, without ever having to do anything within Final Cut. So at least all of the Portal days, all of the Portal episodes, were done with absolutely not being in Final Cut at all. It's so great because it saves me time. I can just hit a button, I'm recording, everything is synced, my mic audio is synced with system audio, and it just works. And when I'm done, I can raise my mic volume and lower system audio so it's better mixed, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So if you are on Mac and you are looking to maybe record something, especially if it's a Let's Play like I've been doing, take the advice of these fine gentlemen and get ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow is awesome. I've been getting a lot of FormSpring questions lately, and I've had FormSpring up and running for a long time, and I get questions pretty regularly, but as of late I've been getting just a massive amount, and I've actually been sitting down and trying to get through them all, and there's a lot of interesting stuff on there. I don't know if you guys have been to my FormSpring page and actually look at questions that have already been answered, but there's well over 300 at this point, and there's some pretty interesting stuff. People ask some really good questions. For example, someone wanted to know what my affiliation was with Chugga Conroy, because I'm listed in the channel box of Chugga Conroy's page, who's a pretty big YouTuber at this point, and that's a question that I address on there. But some stuff about my childhood, some other interesting questions. But I got a question today, and I think it would actually be easier to answer on video than it would be to answer here, because it's kind of long and involved and it would just be easier to talk about. The question just says, why is your name for heaps of things XFISJMG1? What is the history behind it? And so, today's vlog is going to be about screen names. Truth be told, I haven't actually been using a computer all that long. I don't think we even got a computer in my family till I was I don't know, 10, and we didn't get the internet till I was probably 12 or so, and that was back whenever everything was running on dial-up. A lot of you are too young to remember that, but that was an experience. That was an experience. Most people my age had a computer before they were 10, and a lot of them were connected to the internet before I was, but we did not get internet until I was 12 years old. Whenever we got internet, it was kind of like this new thing. It's well, what do we use this for? I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but let's see, when I was 12, so that was going on 10 years ago, the internet, there wasn't much to it. In fact, the only website I really thought of that I wanted to actually go to was Disney.com, which in retrospect is really weird because even though we had the Disney Channel as a kid, I never watched it. One time. I was a Nickelodeon child. I watched Nickelodeon all the time and never watched Disney, didn't like the Disney shows, but when it came to the internet, my first thought was Disney.com, so apparently they really marketed that well, at least 10 years ago. When I finally got to Disney.com, and I do mean finally, because if you remember I'm a 56K, but when we finally got into Disney.com and I went to create an account, this was the first time I'd ever done account creation, by the way. Remember that, first time on the internet. I tried some screen names and they were taken. I tried some more and they were taken. Tried some more and they were taken. Now remember, I've never used account creation before. I'm using words. I'm not doing this whole adding numbers thing, and because account creation was still sort of new on the internet, I guess, back then, they weren't recommending things. It was I would type in Steven, Steven was taken, and it wasn't going to recommend Steven and some numbers. It was just, Steven's taken. And I sat there for an hour trying things. I tried all kinds of crazy stuff. Finally, I got upset. I was man, I'm gonna have a stinking username. So I stretched out my hands over the keyboard, closed my eyes, and typed random letters. Although, to be fair, 10 years ago, closing my eyes, I was going to type random letters anyway because I really didn't know how to type, so I wouldn't have known the layout of the keyboard. Several seconds later, XFISJMG had popped out. The 1 was added later because I forgot a password to an account. One thing about using XFISJMG1 is that it has always very much been unique. Whenever I go to create an account somewhere, I can type it in and chances are it hasn't been taken. Although it has happened one or two times, and I can't imagine someone would be so low as to steal my poor little username. I also didn't get as much spam whenever I created email addresses with it, which was a nice little bonus. But that is the history behind my username. Now, in the last few years, I've actually tried to stray away from it just a little bit because I'm in college, I'm becoming more professional, and I'm trying to use my name more. So I'm using Stephen George in some of my URL stuff, like Stephen Vlogs, Stephen Plays, Stephen Crochets. I don't know how to crochet, so don't be on the lookout for that channel. One interesting thing about usernames is that there is always a story behind it. There has to be. Even if the story is basic, even if it is your name, there's some kind of explanation. So, I would like every one of you to post the reasonings behind your username, if you can, in 500 characters or less. Another thing I think would be interesting to do is if you made your own XFISJMG1 username. Close your eyes and just hit random letters. See what you come up with. Post those below, and I will be sure to check them out. And as always, stay tuned tomorrow for more Stephen Vlog, Stephen Plays, but not Stephen Crochets.